Welcome to Impact News. I am Carol Angela Davis bringing you the news. Folks, we're going to start with the commentary. People. As civil rights activist Eldridge Cleaver said, there is no more neutrality in the world. You either have to be part of the solution or you're going to be part of the problem, folks. As Mark Twain said, it is better to keep your mouth closed and let people think you are a fool than to open it and remove all doubt. Folks, let me tell you something. I am talking about Kanye. Oh, I'm so sick of Kanye. Kanye West is acting like part of the problem when it comes to racial unrest, violence, a denial of history, hate against black people, and anti-Semitism as he lifts up white supremacists. Stop it. Enough, Kanye. Enough. Kanye appears to have forgotten that he is, or rather was, a billionaire, and his actions have severe consequences. He can go against black people, he can stoke hate, then he goes home, puts his feet up, and lets his money do the talking. He is a classic example, folks, of the Trump effect and the billionaire effect, the it's all about me problem that is destroying our society. All right, folks, has he not thought of the young black man or woman who is out in the street taking care of their kids, minding their business, only to be set upon by a white supremacist who, if that person is a cop, that could result in their death? And I said could, but we all know that it has on many occasions. Has he not thought of the Jewish person and the devastating impact the Holocaust had on their community and family members? Has he not thought of his own children, folks, who will walk this earth with their brown skin and could be set upon by white supremacists who never even know or even care who they are? Folks, where is his sense of responsibility? Where is his sense of history? Unfortunately, unless he changes demonstrably, folks, and over a long period of time, guess what? Kanye has to become a has-been, or we will all be under siege, and we don't have the money Kanye has or had to stop the damage, okay? Kanye says now he owes the IRS $50 million. So, of course, like anyone, he's going to be looking for a settlement, commonly referred to as grace, from the IRS. But Kanye appears to have grace for absolutely no one, at least no one black, no one of color, no one Jewish. Remember, Kanye, you know what your mother told you. You pass the same people going up that you pass coming down, so act accordingly. I'm Carol Angela Davis. Welcome to Impact News. I'm Carol Angela Davis. You know I bring you the stories from all around the neighborhood and all around the world, helping to keep you abreast of what's going on that affects your community. All right, first story, folks. Did you know that black women now make up a majority of new HIV cases? That's right, folks. That's very serious among women. That's right. 1 in 9 women are unaware that they have the virus. You should know that though men remain the largest group of people diagnosed with HIV, black women make up the majority of new HIV cases among women. And folks, you should know the rise for black women is being associated with men having sex with other men. So be careful out there, okay? Sister Love is an Atlanta-based health nonprofit for women. It's launched an $8 million community grant initiative. It's going to do outreach, education, and prevention, all focused on black women. We should also tell you that transgender women also face disparities. A CDC survey showed that 4 out of 10 transgender women had HIV, and the majority of these are black women, okay, followed by Hispanic or Latina women. On top of that, those assigned female at birth, black people, and teens and young adults have the lowest percentage of HIV medical care. That comes to us from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. All right, moving on. Oh, boy, this is a story you're going to really want to grit your teeth about. Okay, Virginia Military Institute. All right, excuse me, Virginia Military Institute's first black superintendent is apparently under attack. No one's surprised about that. By conservative white alumni. That's right, folks. They're calling for, this is the new superintendent's name. His name is Cedric T. Wins. They're calling for him to be fired. Right. Wins is himself a VMI grad and started the job due to a new diversity, equity, and inclusion initiative. All right. It's also amid a state-ordered investigation into alleged racism there at VMI. The investigation concluded that VMI has long tolerated a racist and sexist culture. I know that for a fact because I have a sister who went to school down there at Sweetbriar, and she used to go to VMI and had to stop going because that place was a mess. And that was many moons ago, and it's hadn't changed a bit. All right, VMI. So these white conservative alumni, as soon as they hired the diversity and inclusion guy, they have gone cray-cray over VMI welcoming more women and minorities. You should know, and this is interesting, VMI is the nation's oldest state-supported military, state-supported with your tax dollars. Military college have received $29 million from the state for this academic year. Okay, so either get it together or get your tax dollars. I know the African Americans and Hispanics and women probably don't want their tax dollars used for that silliness. So maybe these white conservative alumni can fund the school themselves. Otherwise, close your mouth. You're using taxpayer dollars. Act like it. As they say, assume the position. We're not kidding out here. All right, let's move on. Western U.S. cities plan to remove decorative grass amidst our historic drought, folks. Okay, some of the largest water agencies in the Western United States, okay, they all agreed to a framework that's going to dramatically reduce the amount of decorative grass in cities like Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, and Denver. That's right, they got to pull that grass up, folks. That's how bad it is. The agreement comes as the 7 states, these are 7 states that rely on the overtapped Colorado River, are facing a dire future with less water to go around. Now, you should also know, this is a very important part of this, because agriculture, it turns out, uses about 80% of the allocated water in the 7 states that rely on the Colorado River. We're talking Arizona, California, Colorado, Nevada, New Mexico, Utah, and Wyoming. But you should also know this. Now, those farms are fine, but you should know that there is a large amount of land that is owned by foreign countries, and those foreign countries are farming that land here in the United States using our water when we got a real problem with water, and they take the products out and give them to their own country. So, but we got a problem with water for people in our country, so we have to address that. All right, let's move on. This fall, the towns and rural farmsteads along the Mississippi River found out that chemicals from a large 3M factory got into the river and into the wells. In other words, their drinking water. That's right, folks. All right, the facility makes the adhesive, this is the 3M facility, it makes the adhesives used in Post-it notes, Scotch tape, and other popular products. Now, the chemicals in question are those PFAS, folks. We talk about them all the time. Those forever chemicals, they're linked to a range of health problems like altered hormone levels. So while they have the PFAS chemicals out there damaging everybody, they're messing with your hormone levels. They're demonizing the people whose hormone levels are being messed with the most. We know, you know what I'm talking about. All right, also, those PFAS forever chemicals, folks, they're linked to decreased birth weight, decreased birth weight, digestive inflammation and ulcers, high cholesterol, hypertension in pregnancy, kidney and testicular cancers, and reduced vaccine effectiveness in children. Those PFAS chemicals are the worst. And remember, they're called forever chemicals because they don't ever break down. All right, what now the EPA says the drinking water of nearly 300,000 people needs additional testing to ensure that it's safe to drink. Yikes. All right, let's go to the Supreme Court. It has now denied another emergency application to block federal student loan forgiveness. Thank goodness. Biden's initiative cancels $10,000 in student loans for most borrowers and up to $20,000 for those of you who have the Pell Grant. But student loan forgiveness is still on hold due to a challenge by 6 Republican, they just don't stop. They're not going to stop till they destroy the whole country. 6 Republican-led states. Those 6 states are Arkansas, Iowa, Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, and South Carolina. They claimed a lack of congressional authorization for the Biden administration's actions to forgive the student loans. You should know that roughly 26 million Americans have applied for student loan forgiveness, and the Biden administration has approved 16 million of the requests. Now, that student loan forgiveness has to happen because we have bailed out everybody, every company, we bailed them out. And if they ever want another bailout again, and trust me, they're going to need it with this climate change, they better get that student loan forgiveness done, or we're not going to allow them to have any, just let the companies fail. I mean, at some point, these people have to get it, okay? Let's move on. Yuck, okay? McDonald's, Walmart, and Taco Bell. Folks, they're accused of sourcing meat that contains harmful antibiotics. All right, apparently, suppliers that treat their animals with antibiotics have been connected to the dissemination of superbugs. You know those superbugs, you can't really survive them. If you get one, it's hard for the antibiotics to kill it. And that's because some humans become resistant to certain antibiotics after prolonged exposure to them through the foods they eat, folks. That's right. Experts consider this growing tolerance for antibiotic treatments a public health crisis. It's very serious. The antibiotics that the farmers use, they help manage the health of livestock in farm settings. They can make livestock grow bigger. That's scary right there. And lead to longer survival. Now, apparently, we're talking about the companies that supply the meat are Cargill, JBS, and Green Bay meat farms. They're the ones that are using these substances. Now, the World Health Organization says the antibiotics are, quote, so essential to human medicine that their use in livestock farming should be stopped, unquote. All right, there's no middle ground there. The CDC estimates that 35,000 Americans die every year because their bodies resist antibiotics. All right, moving on, folks, we got some good news here. There is now a Black Twitter app. Yes, ma'am. It's created by an African-American female. Her name is Jordana Wright, and it was built a year before all the controversy due to Elon Musk letting all the haters back on Twitter and allowing all that hate speech to flourish, okay? Wright says she's responding to the community's, you know us, the community's uncanny ability to turn life's most abhorrent, stressful, and all-around terrible moments into humor. That's us, folks. Wright's Black Twitter app went live in April 2022 and got more than 10,000 users in 6 months, folks. That's right, it's the Black Twitter app. You can find it in the Apple App Store as well as the Google Store. So go get that sucker, download it, and get moving, folks. All right. Let's move on to Barbados. Oh, Barbados isn't playing out there, folks. That's, you know, that's Rihanna's hometown. They're not playing, okay? Barbados plans, his home country. Barbados plans to make a Tory MP pay reparations for his family's slave past, and what a slave past they have, folks. His name is Richard Drask, and he inherited a former sugar plantation that was, passed down through the family. He got it in 2017. Now, the Drask family pioneered the plantation system. Gee, thanks. They pioneered the plantation system in the 17th century and played a major role in the development of sugar and slavery all across the Caribbean and the United States. Yucky, yucky. What a horrible family line he's got. All right, and so, and we should tell you that Sir James Drax, that's the guy they're going after. His name is Sir James Drax. He was one of the first Englishmen to colonize Barbados. Oh boy, in the early 17th century, he part-owned at least 2 slave ships, the Samuel and the Hope, which were used to kidnap black African people, of course, and to work on their plantations. You know, they all claim they built everything. They didn't build a thing because the slaves built everything. All right, among the plans being considered are that 17th century Drax Hall there in Barbados, Drax Hall Plantation, that it is turned into an Afrocentric museum, and also part of it used for housing for low-income Bayesian families. Today, oh, you want to know how slavery pays? Well, of course, we do know we're in America, so we know how slavery pays, but let's tell you how it's paid for the Drax family. He and his family are worth at least 150 million pounds, folks. That's right. He's British, okay? So as we know, slavery pays very well for the slave owner. The slaves got nothing. And we've got to get those reparations going here in the United States. Okay, let's go to Evanston, Illinois, where history is made. All right, Shanita Stewart. She is now the first ever permanent black woman police chief in Evanston, Illinois' 165-year history. Congratulations. All right, Stewart grew up in Evanston, graduated from Evanston Township High School, has been in law enforcement for 23 years. Prior to her appointment as police chief, she served as deputy chief in East Dundee. All right, now get this. Her twin sister, yes, her twin sister, Shanella Stewart, was recently sworn in as the commander of the Oak Park Police Department. How interesting. I wonder if they're identical. They certainly have identical aspirations. All right, let's move on. Also today, you should know that Kyra Harris Bolden, folks, she is now the first black woman judge to serve on the Michigan Supreme Court. Governor Gretchen Whitmer, that's right, folks, she put her there. She chose Bolden, and says Bolden brings a unique perspective as a black woman and a new working mom. And Governor Whitmer says a perspective that has too long been left out. You bet that, okay? Bolden is 34 years old. She is the youngest member of the Michigan Supreme Court. Prior to that, folks, she has been a member of the Michigan House since 2018. Congratulations to all that black girl magic. Stay with me. I'll be right back. I've got the slay word missing. Ask Dr. K, the international report, and the financial news. Stay with me. Welcome to the Slave Word of the Week, folks. The word this week is nostrum, N-O-S-T-R-U-M, nostrum. We should tell you that is a noun. You know what that means. It's a person, place, or thing. Its origin is in the Latin from the 17th century. Definition: a pet project or favorite remedy, especially one used for bringing about some social or political reform or improvement. Let's use that sucker in a sentence. Okay. First sentence: I know ginger ale is a nostrum with no medical effect, but I still drink it when I have a cold. We all do that. Okay. Also, next sentence: the January 6th committee's nostrum is maintaining and restoring, that's right, folks, the democratic principles that govern our nation. That's right, nostrum. A pet project or favorite remedy, especially one used for bringing about some social or political reform or improvement. That is your slave word, folks. Use it all week and level up your vocab.
Anyone who thinks that slavery ended in the 1860s with the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation are grievously wrong.
If we caught a bird, we ate through the feathers and ate the bird. We didn't have nothing to cook on. We didn't have no stove. You know who you are and who we are.
We're still on that big plantation.
She was bonded to them until they died. She was their slave.
Dave said, bro, we're gonna be killed tonight.
Could that same white dude keep terrorists there? Or Russian spies? Or the KGB? And the government wouldn't know it? No.
They thought I was beat so bad that I couldn't do nothing, but I did.
Where are you? We are looking for you, and with the community's help, as everyone knows, we are absolutely determined to find you. Chicago police say Tianda Slater was 15 years old when she was reported missing from the 1000 block of North Milwaukee Avenue in the Noble Square neighborhood. Slater is 5 feet 4 inches tall, weighs 115 pounds, and has brown hair. She was last seen wearing a black windbreaker, light blue ripped jeans, and black gym shoes. Please call 1-800-THE-LOST, 800-843-5678 with any information about the case of Tianda Slater. Where are you? We are looking for you, and with the community's help, we will find you. Welcome to this week's International Report, and this week we have a special treat for you. We're going to tell you about a school being financed by Americans, and the school is in Tanzania. Stay with me for Inyang Ebong Harstrup's report.
As you know, I traveled earlier this year to northern Tanzania in my capacity as Executive Director of the Foundation for Tomorrow. This amazing foundation focuses on providing access of high-quality education to girls and boys who are either orphaned or come from vulnerable backgrounds. We believe that education has the power to transform lives and set young people on the right path to great success, not only in their lives, but in those of their families and their communities at large. Last Saturday, on the 19th of November, we held our 16th annual South of the Sahara fundraising gala. This was one of our most successful galas ever, raising $275,000 in a night. And I note this is at a time when the economy of America is still showing signs of strain. Our donors were there for us. As Executive Director, I gave a keynote address and emphasized the next challenge that TFFT will face. This will be around the world of entrepreneurism. Why? Because the government of Tanzania can only produce 50,000 jobs a year in the face of some 800,000 graduates seeking jobs. And our scholars are amongst those graduates. So TFFT has endeavored to attract partners that will help us build out an entrepreneurship program that will benefit the scholars as well as students in other government and private schools. To date, we have raised in the last 5 years, with the leadership of our founder, Megan Gunderman Seahorn, some $3,882,360, which has gone to the education of girls and boys in northern Tanzania.
Thank you so much, Edie. We appreciate all of your insight and, of course, your travels around the world to let us know what's going on in the diaspora. Welcome to the financial news, folks. Okay, yes, you do have to know the financial news out here, folks. We got to watch the money all the time. All right, imagine an airline without telephone customer service, folks. That's what's going on over at Frontier Airlines. I don't know if you fly that airline, but that's what's going on there. It stopped offering customer service by phone about a week ago. Instead, you have to reach out by text or social media channels and WhatsApp, folks. Now, the move is designed to lower labor costs and increase the number of customers that the airline can help at once. Frontier had a $31 million profit on $906 million of operating revenue in the last quarter, folks. It spent $182 million on labor cost, its second biggest expense after jet fuel, up nearly 70% from the same period in 2019. And just so you know, and let's hope this is not a trend, okay, Breeze Airways, the new U.S. carrier launched by JetBlue, also offering only text, email, or messenger options for customer service. I don't like that. I think we should, on an airplane, I think we should be able to talk to somebody. All right, well, I guess I will be flying Frontier or Breeze Airways. Okay, let's move on. We're going to take a look at the unemployment rate for black men. Folks, it fell in October, but so did the black male labor force participation. So this is not looking so good. The unemployment rate for black men fell to 5.3% in October from 5.8% a month earlier. That's according to data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Black and Hispanic workers still have higher rates of unemployment than their white counterparts. Unemployment for Hispanic workers, folks, it also jumped in October, outpacing the uptick for black and white workers. It jumped to 4.2% from 3.8% in September. We got to get that together. All right, then also, less than a month after Elon Musk took over, half of Twitter's top advertisers have stopped advertising. That's right. See, we actually don't like hate. We actually don't, okay? We're not going for it, Elon. Get it together if you can. Remember, Elon Musk spent the first 10 years of his life in apartheid South Africa, so I'm not sure whether he even knows what he's doing, how racist his stuff is, okay? Might just be baked in, okay? 50 of Twitter's leading 100 advertisers stopped advertising on the site as of November 21st. We're talking Chevrolet, Chipotle, Ford, Jeep, Kyndryl, Merck, and Novartis. And folks, another 7 companies appear to be slowing down their advertising to almost nothing. The 50 companies that halted advertising on the platform, folks, they accounted for more than $750 million in spending on Twitter in 2022, the first 9 months of 2022. So that might have gone to $1 billion by the end of the year. They also accounted for almost $2 billion overall since 2020. Musk, you should know, laid off about, as you probably know this, half of Twitter's workforce in his first week. Several hundred more employees resigned in mid-November when Musk gave them an ultimatum: commit to a hardcore work environment or leave. That would be bye, okay? We're glad they left. We're not playing that game. He's the world's richest man. He can't pay people. He ought to be ashamed of himself. And he is, as you know, he is reinstating a lot of controversial accounts. But there is hope, right? Because I told you about Jordana Wright's Black Twitter app. It's called the Black Twitter app. Folks, it's in the Apple and the Google app stores. Get it and get going. I'm Carol Angela Davis. That's your financial news. Stay with me. I've got more. Ask Dr. K. Stay with me.
I'm just sick and tired of us not spending time together lately.
I know, baby. I know. I'm sorry I ain't been spending time with you. I've just been working on this big deal. It's gonna bring a lot more money to the household for it.
What you doing here, boss?
Yeah, just checking to see if you still got it.
You take this work. Your partner. I don't want it back.
I've seen the movies, man. I know how this goes.
You see the movie, huh? What you see? Goodfellas, New Jack City.
Everything I do is for you. Like, I just need a little bit more time, man. Fine bullshit. Like I said, he's gonna call any second.
Why don't you take a look at this video? Guess what? It's starring you.
We are closing out the show as we always do with Dr. K, who's making sure that you live a long and healthy life. Welcome, Dr. K.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Today, I want to start the conversation on weight loss. We're going to be talking about it in January. And I want to talk about the latest craze, which is Ozempic, also called Wegovy, Wegovy, which is a higher dose of Ozempic, which is a diabetic drug, but it is being used for weight loss. And it's extremely popular, so much so that there are shortages of the drug. So what does it do? It's taken as an injectable medication once a week, and it stimulates the hormone that gives us a feeling of fullness. So we feel full, and foods that we maybe love, we just don't crave anymore. And lo and behold, we lose weight. The drug is very expensive, anywhere between $800 and $1,300 a month without insurance. There are programs that make it such that you get counseling for weight loss, things like that, and then you get the drug at a discount. I'm not sure if you have to have insurance for that. And it is working. The other significant thing about this drug, though, is just like we have medication for cholesterol and high blood pressure, are we entering the age where we are actually going to take an injectable medication once a month that will control our weight? Because if you stop taking the drug, as soon as your hormone levels come back to what is your normal, you could potentially gain the weight back. So this drug represents a whole new era, but people, if you notice, the drug makes us feel full. And because we feel full, we don't want to eat anymore. So therefore, do you need it, or can you just decrease your portions on your own? Think about it, because in the long run, may not be a shortcut to weight loss. There are side effects: constipation, diarrhea, pancreatitis. It's not free. However, this is the latest. You may have already heard of it, but just in case you didn't, I wanted to make you aware of it. Have a great holiday season.
So Dr. K, that's Ozempic, that's called something else now, Wegovy.
Well, when it's used for diabetes, it's called Ozempic. When it's used in the higher dose for weight loss, it's Wegovy.
Wow, that's so interesting.
And like I said, the era of always taking a once a month injectable to basically control your weight is possibly, can't say for sure, but possibly where it's going. It's FDA approved for weight loss as of 2021. And like I said, it's so popular, it's in short supply.
Wow, very interesting. All right, thank you, Dr. K. That's why she's here. And we thank you for tuning in. We're so happy to see you every week watching Impact News, making sure you get all the information you need for our community. I'm Carol Angela Davis. This has been Dr. K.
Thank you so much.
And we'll see you next week from all of us here at Impact News. See you next week. We can't wait to see you. Have a good day.